This isn't a subject I go near normally because, quite frankly, it's not my cup of tea, but I do sit back and watch with interest all of these people in the public eye falling over themselves, trying to deny they said it, trying to deny they wrote it, and trying to plead complete ignorance to whole situations. I do, of course, refer to Harry and Meghan, Omid, Scobie, and the royal family, and what's been happening over the last few days. Now, just to remind you all, this is where it all started. These two, Harry and Meghan, the Oprah interview, where they turned round and said that somebody or individuals within the royal family, turns out there were two of them, made comments about the colour of one of their children, is the most diplomatic way of putting it. And it all went mad from there, didn't it? Meghan didn't really fit with the royal family, and we know all the drama and everything over that, and it's just progressed and been in the papers for, it seems like, forever. Now, the latest drama is over this guy. This guy is Omid Scobie, and he is an individual that's written a supposed tell-all book about the inner workings of the royal family involving the late Her Majesty the Queen, from that point in time, what happened, and all the events thereafter, making certain claims that certain people said certain things. Now, there's a couple of versions of this book floating around. There's the English version and there's the Dutch version. The Dutch version is where all the attention has been directed to, because it apparently names two members of the royal family who made these comments. And I'm not going to repeat them here because it's very well known in the public domain who they are. And the reason is this fella here, and this was a very, very calculated and well-timed move, in my opinion, because as soon as he went on, he delivered, I think it was an 8-minute monologue, and named the two right at the end. He used the excuse, old Piers. He said, well, if the Dutch know, then you have the right to know as well. And on that basis, I'm going to tell you. And he did. And that's caused a bit of a stink in itself. Now, the whole thing was, they tried to cover it up and say it was a translation error, an error in the translation. Now, do you believe that or not? If you don't believe it, subscribe to the channel, because there'll be a lot of people here that actually don't, and I'm one of them. If you put a name in a manuscript, it's either there or it isn't. There's no halfway house. There's no two ways about it. I did a little experiment earlier. I went on Google and I put my name in, Andrew, and I asked Google Translate to translate my name into Dutch, Andreas. So if I walk down a street in good old Holland, I would be Andreas. So my name would appear in a book. It'd just be Andreas instead of Andrew. You see what I mean? You can't have it both ways. It's one or the other. And now, of course, there's a lot of denying going on, a lot of flapping going on with Omid Scobie. And there's a little excerpt from the news here, which I'll read out to you so you get it. And it's certainly the accuracy is being questioned. Newspaper reviews of Omid Scobie's End Game, very poignant title, all things considered, have pointed out that the pro-Harry and Meghan narrative, while heavily criticising the working members of the royal family. In an interview on ITV's This Morning, having become increasingly frustrated by presenter Craig Doyle's brutal grilling, Omid snapped, Harry and Meghan don't appear in this book until page 146. The English version of Endgame first mentions Prince Harry on page 3 of the prologue, and then mentions Meghan on page 9. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex are then mentioned frequently in the book, mostly in a very positive light. Questions are now being raised about the accuracy and reliability of Omid Scobie's version of events. The Dutch version of Endgame, which has now been recalled, appears to name two members of the royal family accused by Meghan of unconscious bias. Dutch publisher, a name I can't even pronounce, initially blamed the allegations on a translation error, that has since rolled back on the claim, simply calling it an error. Just a plain, simple error. You let me know what you think in the comments. Do you believe any of this? I mean, you know, another thing as well, which I've mentioned again and again and again, and if you believe this is true, subscribe and sign up and be with all these like-minded people here. Is it a big distraction? Because again, if you look on the news anywhere, anytime, over the last couple of days, that's all that seems to be there. All that seems to be there. So what are we missing? Let me know what you think. And if you want to see any other videos on this kind of thing, you can start with this one here. And I look forward to talking to you again soon.